What's up, everybody? Appreciate you being here. Thanks so much for hanging out. We're back for stream number 2. It's NASCAR Cup Series practice and qualifying from the Phoenix Raceway. Welcome in, everybody. If you're just joining us this morning, happy Saturday afternoon to each and one of you. Maybe Sunday, wherever you are in this world, this amazing world that we live in. Craig, what's going on? Danny, well. Ryan Reed, 97 Cobra, dropping those stats. Jeff Mack says, can we discuss what's wrong with McDowell? He failed practice, failed inspection twice, so his crew chief is done. And thank you, Craig, for becoming an MVP member. IR Geek, Mike Baker earlier in the stream. Thanks so much for those young sweepers still at the track. And one person that I forgot to talk about in this Cup Series in our weekend preview is Catherine Legg in that driving that 78. I totally forgot to leave her. I left her out of our video, and that's shame on me. I should be talking about her, but we'll see what she can do. First woman since Danica Patrick to be in the Cup Series. We'll see what she can do in that 78. She's 44 years old, from England. She's the 17th female to compete in the Cup Series since the first in 2018. She raced IMSA, Champ Car, IndyCar, Xfinity, and the ARCA Series, and now she is in that Cup Series. So Catherine Legg in this thing. So we'll see how she does. Thank you so much for the membership, so much. So let's get to it, and let's get over to the main page and ready to have some fun. But welcome in, everybody. Appreciate you being here. Thanks so much for hanging out on the Go with CeeLo here on the show. Wrong one. Let's get this one here, and we'll get you going here for some Cup Series practice and qualifying. 40-minute practice session. I think, is it for everybody? I don't know. We'll have to look. Let's see here. Done. And there is that. All right, let's bring it in.
Because when you're on that yellow line, especially into turn 3, I was explaining to our drivers as it's kind of like a trough.
Craig, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Craig, thank you, sir.
You can immediately let off the brake, go back to a little bit of partial throttle, and drive that car up the hill. And with these cars, Clint, you want to be heavy brake getting in the corner, bleed out of the brake, and immediately when you're off the brake pedal, you need to be transferred right into the partial throttle.
We need the late 90s cars back at NASCAR. Yes, sir.
Sounding like a fellow who's won here 8 or 9 times.
Mike, this place has been, it was fantastic to me throughout my career.
So it's a 40-minute session. Everybody's out there.
My grandpa, he would be sitting when we used to come across the straightaway back here. My grandpa was always the first one parked in his motorhome, and he'd wait for me every year as we'd come by in the Southwest Tour trailer or whatever I was racing that weekend. He always would bring his motorhome over here a month early. But for West Coast racers, this was kind of like your big race of the year.
Sure. Now here's Carson.
It's a little screen behind you again, bud, so we can see a little something. That's not for, that's only for Xfinity series, bud.
The red sidewall, that's the option tire.
We don't do any video for Cup. It's not available.
Seeing that, and if look at McDowell, find him and Bush or Reddick, all 4 of your top 4. Let's see if they're
Thank you, Craig, for the $1.99. Hit that like, y'all. Hit that subscribe. Try to get to 100 likes.
Chase Briscoe's car, Larry.
Yeah, Mike, Chase ran 3 laps. He's 13th quickest. He complained about something in the left front of the left rear. Now, every car here essentially has the same brake package, but Clint and Kevin, you know what they do is they play with the compound of the brake pads. They put a softer right front pad than the left front to help the car turn under braking, and that can cause some ill feelings in the brake package.
Well, the brake package is one thing that I always thought we had figured out better than everybody else as we watch Kyle Larson fire off.
Love the CeeLo channel. Thank you, buddy.
Red compound tires there, but the brake package, these cars, whether it's this car or the old car, whichever car you want, you do not want to be loose in the corner. So you'll stagger those brake pads so that you can really be aggressive with the braking getting in the corner and keep that car from getting loose, because any looseness here and not being able to turn the wheel to the left at the end of the first third part of that corner, you are in big trouble if you can't crank on the wheel.
Kyle Larson leading Ross Chastain here, who is 11th on the speed chart. And it looks like he is on the standard tire with the yellow sidewall lettering.
But that Hocevar, yeah, look at him.
Now, Michael McDowell.
3-0 balls. Yeah, I got to turn that on.
The option tire. That car failed inspection twice, so they lose their car chief and they lose pit selection.
Yeah,
for Sunday's race.
I like McDowell's strategy better than I do Hocevar's. We saw Hocevar come back in the pits, and you know, I think he was probably sounds like he was doing a qualifying run. Hocevar was. So Michael McDowell is doing the work for the long run on these red tires, the softer tire, to see how far these tires will run and give them a good read. So when you have multiple cars on a team, you can have multiple strategies so that you have a better understanding of what you learn quicker.
Yeah, we used to do that a lot. You know, that's a strength of numbers conversation and why you have 4-car teams. Send somebody out on something different and collectively get to the goal quicker.
So Joey Logano was on the primary tire. Last time he was here, he won the Cup championship here in Phoenix last November.
And Clint and I had a conversation about Joey Logano before we started practice, and he was awful in the first race last year and came back to the second race and had, you know, a championship performance and won the race. So this is a pretty finicky racetrack. These are pretty cool conditions for when we come to Phoenix. It was cold and rainy, windy yesterday. It's been very sunny all day today. And, you know, when we started this practice, as we watched Tyler Reddick, when we started this practice, we saw Kyle Larson wait. I like that strategy. We had an ARCA race here last night. We had practice for the Xfinity cars before the Cup cars went on the racetrack. So to be able to get some of that rubber down on the racetrack, it's never as fast after the rubber gets down, as we'll see with Kyle Larson. But when that rubber gets on the racetrack, it immediately slows down compared to a green racetrack after they drag the mat on the racetrack and clean the racetrack up.
So Brad Keselowski on the primary tire and Austin Cindric right behind him. So most cars on the primary tire. Not that many on
the so doing the soft tire and the hard tire today.
We can. And Larry, we talked about Carson Hocevar just going out doing a mock qualifying run. What are they up to now?
Yeah, and that's exactly what they did. I think you guys were all over. Remember, come qualifying, you have to qualify on the primary, the harder yellow letter tire.
Guys, just practice. Exactly Craig, another $2 super chat. Thank you, Craig. Craig, thank you.
With those red soft packages. Another reason a lot of teams wanted to start on the yellow, the harder tire, is that's the exact tire we ran here in November. We've had no rule changes. They felt like they wanted to go back to the baseline from November to kind of see where they stacked up.
Thanks, Larry. Now, the format of today is a little different than most weekends will be. Because of the two choices of tires, we have one 45-minute practice session for all cars. The groups are not split. And then we will roll into one round of qualifying, which is what we're going to have on all the oval tracks this year, except the super speedways. So one 45-minute practice followed by one round of qualifying to set the field.
Yeah, and
there you go. One round of qualifying.
These cars, and as a driver and team, I think a lot of these teams
would tell you
that they prefer to do this as well. I think it gives you a better indication on.
Is that like trying to get to 1,000? Go Bowman, San Diego Kid, your boy.
It allows you to try things, and that really helps things evolve as you move through the year and be able to push the needle if you're off a little bit as an organization.
Right, Craig. We'll definitely go into that.
It allows you to figure it out.
All right, Michael McDowell has had a chance to run on both tires.
Cobra, I got the game on, so you don't have to update it. It's good.
Where you're at on tires 21, the same length of a run, so you still have a slight advantage here. How's it driving 20 laps in?
A little tight across the middle. I get some snappy loose off.
A little snappy loose off.
Yeah, and that's something that you'll hear a lot of these guys say, and you have to anticipate when that car is going to rotate. With this car, you need to anticipate when that snap is going to happen. A lot of times when that snap happens, you're behind on your opening your wheel up.
It really means William, it's
and when you're tight,
Amazon Prime.
Have to anticipate it even more. But you have to be able to anticipate that to keep the car from snapping, whether it's tight or handling perfect. You want to open the wheel up to help load that right rear tire and get some drive in the car. And anything you can do to open your hands as soon as possible, the more the back of that car will drive, and because it will be snapping less.
Looking at Chase Elliott here, who is 22nd on the chart. And his fastest lap about a second faster than what he's running right now. As for Michael McDowell, the fall off after 25 laps appears to be, well, less than half a second.
Yeah, that's even the faster lap. You know, obviously, as Kevin stated,
have Josh Berry ready to go.
Cooler today, and we'll even see tomorrow. But the top speed, I'm not seeing him.
It's a brand new car. It's not like it's going to be easy for her to.
Harder tire, and his fastest lap is a 39, and some of these other guys on the softer tires are just 30s, mid 30s.
All right, the new math tripped me up. The fall off is 1.4 seconds, not half a second for Michael McDowell.
Well, this is going to be pretty interesting. We see cars,
last.
You see the 23 car
last
Bubba
place
Wallace right there, all the way up the racetrack.
37.
And we were talking about this leading into this broadcast. Would they
look at Denny, 28,
start searching for grip? I would say that after watching that right there with Bubba, as soon as that racetrack starts getting cleaned up, it's going to be faster up there because the racetrack is clean. But as those guys that are watching practice, the engineers and crew chiefs and drivers,
that sub y'all trying to get to 30,500 helps out.
Moving up there as well.
30,500.
Turns 1 and 2, you're going to be up the racetrack. You're going to want to figure out that timing. A lot of timing here as to roll speed and the brake pressure and differences between the bottom of the racetrack and the top of the racetrack. So you're going to want to have all those things in your mind as a driver. And then when you get done with practice and you have this fall off, you got to reset that. So it's important, and this racetrack has really good markers to be able to judge from, to be able to try to be as consistent as possible. Jamie?
Well, Chase Briscoe still out on track on those softer option tires. He's 13th on the board. His fastest lap was lap number 1. I talked to him before he got in his
dark
car.
horse, Chase Briscoe.
Our plan is right now, we're going to go out on those softer tires, run as long as I can, then we're going to put the primaries on and do another long run and compare. But he said, overall, we are so thrilled to have this 40 minutes. This is the first time that this new team really gets to make some changes and put in some longer laps just to understand what he needs to make the car better. They haven't had that opportunity in the first 3 races together.
Well, it's been a very big week for the number 19 team. Their appeal from the spoiler issue at the start of the season was upheld. The appeals committee determined that the elongation of the holes where that spoiler mounted to the deck lid was a result of assembly.
9 likes to go to 100. Help us out.
Messing with the specified part. So they got all their points back, they got all their money back, and that's just a huge lift for the 19.
Yeah, well, it changed their whole season.
34th, so no, not really. Not really.
Charged 50 regular season points and fined $50,000 for intentionally hooking Ty Dillon on the front straightaway there. In other news and notes, NASCAR countersues.
Cheers, mate. What's up, Tim? Good to see you, bud.
There's the Hendrick penalty, and there is why. Both cars finished on the lead lap, by the way. And Chase Briscoe's spoiler penalty from Daytona overturned. No suspension, no point deduction, no fine.
Well, at the end of the day, we know you can't hook them in the right rear. I mean, the penalties, it stayed consistent. Don't do it.
Yeah,
you can go up and do something else somewhere else, but do not hook him in the right rear.
I don't know that it stayed consistent, but he definitely got a penalty. You know, we've seen a lot of suspensions, and from a driver's standpoint, I don't really like it. I think that I think that from the driver's standpoint, I think whether you're going 50 miles an hour or 200 miles an hour, I think the drivers want to see that left rear or right rear hook be a consistent, stiff penalty.
Josh Berry put the pedal to the metal.
The only thing I don't like is the inconsistency of what the hooks have been in the past. So definitely got a stiff penalty and a lot of points and some dollars. So it's still a stiff penalty, but piece of it I don't like there.
About John Hunter showing some speed out of his 42 Camry.
He's 5th on the board.
I think the Bowman's race car is a little tight. Needs to be loose.
Whereas a number of cars have run over.
He's driving the Kubota, Chief Kubota Chevrolet.
The statistics we have show that the option tire is still
He's in 11th right now.
30 laps than the primary tire at 30 laps.
And I'm interested to see what happens when the guys that are on the option tire, the softer red, fire off on their primary tires for a longer run, because I believe that the racetrack being clean and green, like it was to start the practice, will give you a little bit of a false read of those faster laps for everybody who went out on that green racetrack. So you'll really start to get a good read. And that's why Kyle Larson waited. They got a better read. They didn't get a big lap, but they got a better read of where the racetrack was going to be with rubber on the track.
And look where he's at. Right on top of the best consecutive 20-lap average.
Yeah.
Larson, McDowell, Hocevar, Austin Dillon, those are all those soft tires.
Having a look at Riley Herbst, we're told Brad Keselowski did 20 laps.
It starts at 3:30. Edward, we'll have it live for you.
On the prime tire, and Keselowski just went out on the options.
Well, 3:30 coverage for us.
Best car, best consecutive. He's second in consecutive 20 and best consecutive 30 on top.
Yeah,
now,
5 Eastern, 4 Central's green flag.
To the setup of the car or the way you run your race, but it's a home game for McDowell. You can see his hometown of Glendale, Arizona from here. Every time you went to Kansas, wasn't that a whole lot bigger deal than going anywhere else?
Why did you have to say that? Of all of the analogy, that was by far and above my worst racetrack. It was good for me for the first 2 outings, and it just did nothing but gone downhill after that. But that means something. You're darn right. You try harder. When you come home, your family's there, the people that got you to where you're at, your fans, all those people from day one are here for him and Michael McDowell, and look at his speed that he has in his car. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's not Michael McDowell's house, Artie. That's State Farm Stadium in Glendale.
Been there.
Where the Arizona Cardinals play. And
I'll tell you who else played there.
Oh, those guys that lost the Super Bowl?
Yeah, they didn't lose that one, Cowboy.
I know.
We took that
one to the house.
Yeah.
Well, you can see the rubber going down on the racetrack, and
we'll see, Roma.
Really, you want to be anywhere but where there's the most rubber, unless your car's working good. And as we talked at the beginning of practice, a lot of those guys will move up the racetrack to try to find that cleaner racetrack because it'll have more grip.
Well, I kind of thought that softer tire would lend itself to be able to do that a little bit more too. Put that rubber down the racetrack, do the things it takes to clean that up, as you're talking about.
Well, look at Michael McDowell. He's on lap 40 there, and now he's almost at a 29 flat. His fast lap was a 27.16.
Second fastest for Michael McDowell.
To see some pretty good fall off by that softer tire.
It's a lot of laps, though. 40 laps.
And I love that. I love to be able to just run laps and get in rhythm and be really in line with what I needed to have, the conversation that I needed to have with my team to collect the data, know what the pace would be, because knowing the pace, it allows you to understand how you need to set the limiters and stops. If it's going to be a lot of fall off, then you need the car to be lower to make more grip as the tires fall off.
All right, crew chief. Topic and conversation.
What's up, Big Wade? Your boy going to win again?
Are you liking what you see? Is it what you expected, Larry?
I am, Clint. I kind of go back to what we saw at North Wilkesboro. We did this twice last year. We did it at North Wilkesboro. We did it at Richmond. Wilkesboro had brand new asphalt, a ton of grip. Richmond is probably the most wore-out racetrack we go to. Phoenix kind of hits right in the middle. But I think this is exactly what teams wanted to find out, is how far you could go before maybe we started to see where, and then how much it was going to fall off maybe in a 40-lap run.
The hard tire, soft tire this weekend option for the boys here in Phoenix.
27.37, his fastest lap. And his last lap, 27.
Yes, sir.
And one of the big reasons that we're having this option tire is it gives Goodyear a great opportunity to have a real life test session. There wasn't time to test the softer tire in a different compound and everything that they wanted to run. So we just gave the guys an option to run the softer tire and see what it did in race condition.
Well, great. It'll make it an entertaining race. Now, Goodyear has also said when we come back here in November for the championship race, there will be only one tire compound used.
All right, commercial break. Let's go to MRN.
Option tire. That was Kyle Larson and his team. What about the rest as Hendrick Motorsports as a whole, Chris?
Well, William Byron has been in a couple different times on the primary tire. They haven't even found the right balance yet before switching over to the option tire, and that's because William has been complaining of a really loose race car. The rear tire's not stuck into the racetrack, not finding that drive off that he's wanted. So Williams made some significant changes before they come back down and try the option tire. Chase Elliott is in. He ran 36
You said just the boy. That's right. I forgot. Yeah. Girl, too. I forgot about that.
And there's some significant wear already. So they're talking about that. Maybe
Chase was
needing to drive the corners just a little bit differently. But so far, he's been quiet on the radio as far as handling. They're leaving the primary tires on for now, but I would expect here shortly them to bolt on the option tires. Alex Bowman is back out on the racetrack. They just bolted on 4 option tires as well for his first trips around Phoenix on that option tire. So using some of that data from Larson, they were talking about what he was being able to do between the 5 and 10 lap runs on those option tires. So
we'll race again, boys and girls. That's right, Kerry. I got to say girls today too.
Motorsports is not setting the world on fire here in this practice session. The highest running Hendrick car is in the 9th position, actually now 10th, as teams are going out on their options. However, Legacy Motor Club and John Hunter Nemechek, 6th fastest time. They've come to life here in the last couple of weeks, and they've come to life in this practice session.
And the one thing I want to point out is the one Hendrick car was Kyle Larson that went out on the option tire for first, but he waited 5 minutes into practice, waited for the racetrack to get a little rubbered in. He didn't fire off with that big speed on the first lap, but when you look at lap 15, you look at lap 20, he's really, really, really competitive.
Yeah, they have the red option tire and the soft tire.
You don't have a ton of tires to work with in the race. The
or the hard tire.
In the race tomorrow, you only get 2 sets of those. So as a crew chief, and you're figuring out your data right now, you'll sit down with your engineers. As you formulate this and watch the opening 15 minutes of this practice, Todd, if you're the crew chief down there, when would you like to put those option tires on?
For this practice, I'd like them on. I mean, I would want to put them on and get as long a run as I can. The Penske guys
100 likes. Let's go to 200 likes. 200 likes. Help us out.
You might be tickling on getting 50 laps on this.
Hit that sub.
I'd like to get a long enough run so I can see when they give up on me. That's the piece I've got, that piece of data that's unknown, and that will change how you call a strategy of when you use your tires come race tomorrow.
Right now, Carson Hocevar, Michael McDowell, Austin Cindric, Denny Hamlin, Chris Buescher, the top 5 with less than 20 minutes remaining in this practice session from Phoenix Raceway.
All right. Appreciate everybody hanging out with my name is CeeLo. On the Go at CeeLo is our YouTube channel. We cover all NASCAR bases here. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, NASCAR Cup Series, NASCAR Xfinity Series. We had a nice, lovely stream just a little bit ago where we watched Alex Bowman on the 17 Hendrick Chevrolet. Going to be racing this afternoon, later on. He's on the pole today, so we'll see that. And we had a great stream, so if you haven't seen that, make sure you go over and take a look. Give it a like, give it a comment. But thank you guys so much. We give you as much content as possible here on the weekends. We hope that you enjoy our stream. And let's go back to it. Here we go.
Carson Hocevar laid down the fastest lap of this session early. We listened in.
We're going to be offset disadvantage for the entire rest of practice. I'm comparing our laps really just to the guys that were on the same tires as us there, and we were really good. So whatever this seems like we're going to get past a lot, don't panic. We're going to be just fine.
Awesome, Debbie.
I'm very, very excited about where we're at here. So whatever this looks like, I'm not concerned. Stay with your boss.
That is very good positive energy to hear on the radio as a race car driver. That cascades to everybody on that race team. And look what these guys have put together. I mean, ever since Atlanta, created a little bit of noise down there. But
you got more faith than I do.
Another fast car they unloaded at COTA last weekend and right here in Phoenix, top of the board.
You got more faith than I do.
Great job of that team so far.
Yeah, and whether that comment holds true.
No, they don't let you do that. You can't do both.
Right or wrong.
One or the other.
It's really important as we watch Ty Gibbs there and Cole Custer here in the 41 car. It's really important to have a plan and have a structure of this is what we're going to do and
legend
not
in
deviate
training.
from it. This is our plan going in. We want to have this information. We'll take what we get when we get to qualifying. We're going to be good or bad. And then we'll go to the truck and we'll understand what we need for a good race car.
Well, Kevin, the flip side of that, we saw Ty Gibbs. It was the next car that we saw on there. What do we need to do with that car and that plan? obviously it's not coming together the way they anticipated and visioned it. What does a young driver and team need to do there?
Well, and it's the same thing for Josh Berry. You look at his stats right here, and you know those guys have
17 minutes left here in practice.
And been in contention over the first 2 races, and so when you go back to Ty, it really, they have to be able to get on a normal racetrack and get some sort of rhythm and stop the bleeding. And you've started seasons like that. I've started seasons like that. And that's really what you want to do, is you want to stop the bleeding with a consistent top 10 performance.
All right, now on our pylon, we're attempting to keep up with who's on what tire. The red background would be the red sidewall.
Hocevar is the only one with not on the red tire.
Larry?
And Kyle Busch
Mike,
and Austin
you're
Dillon.
At the tires that came off Michael McDowell's 71 car. That's 44 laps. You see the tire guy? He's scraping that XX rubber. He wants to be able to get to those 5 wear pin holes. I talked to Mark Cato with Goodyear, the engineers. They are really happy with the wear. Think about this, guys. 44 laps. If you split stage 2 or stage 3 in half, you just need to run 60 laps. So I think that 44 lap.
Thanks for the membership stuff today, Early.
Thanks, Larry. All right. Ryan Blaney has just gone out on the option tire to make his first few laps here on the soft compound, 27.68. And that's about 0.3 off what his fastest lap was. And yeah, he fired off and ran his quickest lap of the day on the soft tire, as you might expect.
Yeah, and I still think that first run is a little bit skewed.
3 in a row, Mike Baker says. I don't know, man.
And I think the second run is
he's
really
great here, though. I just don't think so.
The difference is, you know, in the lap times.
So everybody in the top 20 except Hocevar is on the red tire.
The Carson Hocevar that he was going to get past a lot because guys were on the softer compound is definitely true as you look at that whole leaderboard of who's on what tire. We think currently.
We think, he says. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, y'all.
Hear that rev limiter on Chris Buescher's car right there. You'll leave that car in 4th gear, and I think that is definitely the right play. Otherwise, it's this really awkward 4th to 5th shift as you go down the back straightaway. You're up to 5th right
Be nice
here.
to each other in the chat, y'all. Be nice to each other.
Down to 4th as you go into turn 1.
All right, 15 minutes to go in this 45-minute session, Jamie.
Well, you're looking at Catherine Legg after waiting about 5 minutes. She did get out on track for about 19 laps.
Good to see you, Dylan.
This is her thoughts and feelings in her first time in a stock car.
Can you see where I'm losing the majority of my speed? Is it on entry or is it on confidence getting on power or is it rolling speed?
I don't want you to worry about that too much right now because I can tell you what I've already saw. Don't get too aggressive. We'll get through qualifying and you'll learn a ton on Sunday and be in a much better position. Like you've handled it correctly. I want you to know that.
Copy. Thank you.
Nice feedback there. As you hear, they're kind of coaching her while trying to understand what she needs in the race car. So they just made some adjustments, try to give her a little bit more
memberships again. IR Geek. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, IR Geek. Everybody tell IR Geek thank you so much.
14 to go. Ty Dillon, as we showed you earlier, was the victim of Austin Cindric's bumper there at COTA in the very early going. But that car was not damaged, and he was able to rebound and get a lead lap finish out of the day.
I like this practice session, Kevin. These teams, the drivers, they're getting a lot of time to adjust, the feel on the difference of tires. See them coming in and out of the pit area and working on their cars. This is something that we really haven't seen for a few years.
Well, it's been rare for sure, as you see Christopher Bell go by Kyle Larson, Kyle Larson is a little off sequence on the primary soft or a harder tire.
Yeah, he's 42 laps on his tire.
Yeah, Taterhead, but I just don't want to do audio only. I don't like doing that. I don't like doing that, Taterhead. I want to be on the stream. I want to be able to talk to people in the chat. That's just not how I work.
With 13 minutes to go in the session, then we'll turn things around for qualifying.
Catherine Legg is her name.
That's a very busy-looking wrap.
She's from England, big-time race car driver, but she's struggling right now. She's in 37th.
Story tomorrow.
Oh, you know she will be. Best friends.
Loves her doggies. Yep. Adopt them all is the goal there.
Alex Bowman in that Xfinity car.
Thank you, IR Geek. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
He's on the racetrack already today, so he's logged a ton of laps so far this morning.
Home game. He's from Tucson, Arizona, 2 hours away. So, yep.
A lot of different paint schemes on the cars this week. New opportunity as we head out west. Representing new brands out here.
Yeah, you see Todd Gilliland right there, and you saw him go by Eric Jones on the bottom right there. Through this 1 and 2 area right here, you got a lot of options. You can see 3 different lines right there with those 3 cars in the frame. And as you get down here into turn 3, the option is you can run that second groove, but still that left front needs to be pinned right on that yellow
they will
line
next Friday,
so
Taterhead trucks. You're official now? Yeah, promo code.
Jones has the 8th fastest lap.
Also, promo code.
40 laps. Here's Justin Haley, 19th quickest. He's run 45 laps, which is right about the average of the field.
Going back to your options in 3, or excuse me, told on myself 1 and 2 down there. See Haley.
11 minutes left here in this practice.
You like that line, use it a lot, but kind of a unique corner. That's the drastic differences between the corners at this place. Both ends just completely different.
And as we see, if we leave it right here for this shot, you know, you're going to. I always liked, if I'm going to run the apron, I always like to run in there and run the right side tires on that yellow line. I always feel like that transition gave that
promo code. Let me see those emojis, man.
Something to lean on to almost hook you around the corner. And I talk about
Bristol that's on Wednesdays.
And all those things a lot, because that's how I was taught to race at a racetrack in my hometown of Bakersfield, California, at Mason Marin Raceway. You had to hook the bottom of the racetrack, and so a lot of places that you go, there is grip out there. And as you see these seams in the racetrack, when we talk about these seams, you know, we talk about that seam.
Or does Bowman's race car need some adjustment? Let's see where he's at
on the racetrack to be able to just find grip as these tires
Bowman's
fall
in P15.
off. You want to be able to find grip to either help the front of the car, help the back of the car, be able to gain a little bit of an advantage.
So yesterday here in Phoenix, it was rain and in the 40s most of the day. Felt a lot more like winter in the Carolinas than it did Arizona. Temps in the 60s today. Larry, it's going to be about 10 degrees warmer tomorrow. How much, if any, difference is that going to make on how these tires respond?
Well, we know it's that in itself, regardless of having 2 different tire combinations.
No, this is practice, and then they'll have a 2-lap shootout for qualifying.
That's probably more of a detriment to that softer tire than it is the harder tire, just because the grip level is just going to go down as the track temp comes up.
SVG, 31st fastest.
As we go into turns 1 and 2 right here, you see the outside work pretty good for Denny Hamlin off the back bumper of Shane Van Gisbergen right here, but now you can see the options.
Keselowski on the softer tire as well. McDowell and Hocevar.
Exactly what I was talking about, hooking those right side tires on the apron, but he was able to hang on the right side of Shane's car.
Rowdy's 21st fastest.
To run the middle line, possibly to just
21st.
Let this car go by. But as you go down into these corners in turn 1 and 2, that's really where all your options are created, and you can get creative from a line standpoint to move your car around.
Jamie?
Well, I've been listening to Riley Herbst making his first Cup start here at Phoenix. They've been under the hood for quite some time. He said his power steering is going in and out.
Welcome back.
Certainly when he's loading is the problem, so they're not exactly sure what's happening there. Just made a couple of adjustments. They'll go back out, but obviously some high hopes here for him, Mike, as he won the Xfinity race here at Phoenix in November.
Boy, we've had a lot of issues with power steering this year, whether it's the pumps or the lines or the rack.
Taterhead, we're only up by 10. I don't like this. I mean, I think we're going to win, but still, up by 10. We should be up by 20 by now.
So far, I don't think we've had a week go by without someone having power steering issues.
Yeah, and I think that's it's been kind of the norm, unfortunately, as we've gone through this next-gen car. The steering has definitely been, really touchy on the things that make the power steering go in and out, and so that's not a fun problem.
Lap averages.
Kind of hard to dissect too, right? It's just kind of you just get a bad batch every now and then. To your point, Mike. And
so lap average really beats the fastest.
Denny Hamlin on
Kyle
board right
Busch,
here, and
Chris
he's still
Buescher.
choosing to run that second lane through 3 and 4. And if he can push that groove up almost into the third lane, that's really where you start to have some better speed options. Where they used
Reddick's
to put
the
that
fastest on the
resin.
15.
But right here, you want to split that scene and drive that thing straight up the racetrack. You
Larson,
see all
25.
these scenes right here, and he'll diamond back down.
Yeah, Larson's getting better as the car goes on.
Above that second seam, and you'll put the right side tires on one of those seams coming up off the corner. I always, he's a little bit high right there as to where you want that left front tire. So he's definitely searching around, trying to put his car in the right spot.
What up, Brian? Going to see how much was Larson's problems last impact his chance of another championship? He'll be just fine.
And gosh, he came close. He led a lot of laps, was in position toward the end of the race, but his stop for tires several laps earlier than the cars he was racing.
I picked Sheldon to get his first win today. We'll see.
His undoing, leading that race against a bunch of charging young drivers, all hopeful of a victory. Now, Christopher Bell, that would have been, was that the year before? No, or was that last? That was this Sunday. So there was a little contact, but for the most part, everybody raced with respect and raced each other fair. And at the end, it was Bell ahead of Byron and Reddick, and on the last lap.
All right, let's go to MRN for a little bit.
Think, Todd, that we're starting to
last 5 minutes.
The fruits of that labor. Would you not agree?
Yeah, they've got a lot of talent that they brought in.
What's up, Craig? Who's bullying you, man?
They're the stipends.
What are you talking about, Craig?
Brian Briganti, he just moved into a competition role.
Y'all are battling for emojis? Is that what you're doing?
Caliber of Rodney Childers over with Justin Haley, and then you brought Travis Peterson, Michael McDowell. Already had chemistry at Front Row Motorsports. Brought them in. I think
I don't see any bullying going on.
Different players here that work in different areas, but are growing this program. Spire has been one on the up and coming.
They are, and they're a team that now is in position. They feel like they should start contending for wins and running as a regular race team inside the top 5. Steve Post, we're down to 5 minutes to go in practice. What's the gauge like down there with these teams? Are they comfortable
T. Lee, welcome back, bud.
Able to accomplish so far?
I think they have to be because, as you said, there's about 5 minutes left to go here. Kind of getting different senses. I think some of the team are listening to Team Penske here, and I think
you're from Tennessee, Davey. Awesome.
On the long run with this option tire is that's what's allowed
Austin Hill is the bully
to go toward the top of the leaderboard. So I feel like that they have a pretty good read on both the option tire as well as the primary tire. So in listening to some of the other teams, yeah, I'm a little tight, I'm a little loose.
Rock on, go Vols, y'all.
I think this 45-minute practice session, which is a long practice session these days, has really helped these teams get an understanding of both sets of tires. And now we get to do something totally different because now we can go out and do one lap of qualifying coming up, and some of the teams I'm sure are comfortable with that as well.
So with Postman talking about what's
used to live in Bristol,
next,
nice.
You've gone through several changes on the race car, right?
Did you go to the track a lot, David?
Been on the option tire, you've been on the primary tire. Where do you go back to for your driver to give you the fastest one lap they can in what's coming next?
Something different.
What's up, Ollie? Good to see you. Go Duke, Kelly says.
They'll go back. These crew chiefs will take all the data that they've had. They've got 20 minutes to kind of digest this, come up with where they want to be. They'll make adjustments on the sway bar arms that can soften and stiffen the sway bars.
Hi, Craig.
They can
I don't see any bullying going on, but y'all be nice to each other.
We call it wedge, where they get to by adjusting the rounds on the spring. So they'll do those things and come back and work on having single lap speed, but they're going to use all the runs that they made here in this practice to kind of forge forward into where they think the race balance needs to be and have an offset from that for single lap speed.
You heard Todd mention there's going to be a 20-minute break. That's what we're going to do. We'll wrap up practice here in 3 minutes and 15 seconds, and then we'll have a 20-minute break before we go qualifying, and that has something that has also changed coming to the year 2025, the way we qualify.
Well, it used to be we would have 2 rounds where everybody would get a lap. You would take a pause. You would take the top 10 and let them go for a second lap, and the pole winner would come from those 10 cars. However, with the way we have changed practice and qualifying in 2025, every team will be sent out for 1 lap and 1 lap only, and the fastest car at the end will be the pole winner of record.
And we heard a lot of pieces about metrics last year. NASCAR simplified the metric and how they kind of grid the drivers. So
How you finish, where your points position is 30% of it. How you finished.
Thank you, Bobby, for subbing. Bobby, thank you.
70% of that. And what we'll see out of qualifying is the car that's lowest on the metric, basically the proverbial slowest car, is going to go first. The fastest car is going to be last. We're going to work our way through qualifying. Better cars and better cars coming. But although you'll have some guys that didn't run well in the last race that will throw up speeds earlier. But ultimately, the last 5 should be your fastest 5.
Does not running that second lap help you on Sunday? It's only 1 lap, but is there something to that?
Well, if you need to get to that set of tires, a place like here at Phoenix where lap time fall off isn't that big a deal, I don't think it's going to be as big. Now, to a place like Darlington, where you'll use every set of tires you've got, not having that second lap and second heat cycle on tires is going to be a benefit.
So just how tight are they right now on single lap speeds at the top of the leaderboard? 2 Spire cars and Carson Hocevar and Michael McDowell separated by 2 1,000ths of a second. As a matter of fact, the top 5 are only separated by less than the blink of an eye. We're talking thousandths of a second and hundredths of a second from the first back to the top 10. It really is close here.
Watching a pocket of race cars on the racetrack right now that are racing double wide. Chase Elliott has just found his way to the inside of Chris Buescher. Here you've got Ryan Blaney behind them trying to wedge his way to the inside of Todd Gilliland. Riley Herbst, Alex.
The betting game?
That's a solid pocket of traffic, and we'll see a lot of that tomorrow afternoon.
We will, and that's part of what you do in practice. You've got a lot of laps on these tires.
All right, Craig.
Car may not be handling perfectly.
Well, it's over now, Craig, so don't worry about it, bud.
Idea what your car can do. And by the way, for the first time, we saw Riley Herbst dive and cut the dog leg here in that pack of traffic. He's now taking
49 seconds left.
Back to the pit lane as they
I'll be on the CW, Daryl.
Here on this racetrack. Daniel Suarez will look in the mirror now and see Chase Elliott begin to close in on him.
One of the things that's unique to Phoenix Raceway, we'll talk about the dog leg. We've done it already. We'll do it during the race. But the corners are wide enough that there are options. These corners at Phoenix invite you in to overdrive them. So you're trying to woe the car down, but you've got room to work in turns 1 and 2. And Alex, tomorrow at some point, we'll see them up against the wall in 3 and 4. So you're not married to just the bottom of the racetrack.
That's the beauty of racing at Phoenix Raceway and the characteristics this track has. As the final couple of ticks of the clock are about to wrap up, Shannon Bednarik is on top of the flag stand, and she will put the red and black flags in the air. Practice is over. Now, Todd, only one person that I saw, and it just happened, was Riley Herbst. Practice getting on the pit lane and going all the way around at pit road speed.
I actually saw 3 or 4 do it just before Ryler did, but one of the opportunities that you can take advantage of these practices, you have to do this before the clock expires. They don't want you doing that on the red and black, but you can take that last 30, 45 seconds of practice, make one run down pit road. That's important here because pit road goes all the way down the backstretch as a straight line. The radius changes as it comes through the 3 and 4 end of the racetrack. We actually exit past the dog leg. You have to understand how you use the lights, how many RPM faster you can run through the radiuses, and where that changes. This is a great data point for those guys to get.
So the cars now have exited the racetrack. They're coming back to the pit lane. We will take a pause here for 20 minutes. These drivers are going to climb out of the race cars. They will consult with their crew chiefs. We'll stick a microphone in there, and we'll get a thought or two as everybody gets set for 1 lap of qualifying. From Phoenix Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of...
All right, so thank you guys for tuning in today. Appreciate it. Hit that like. We're trying to get to 200 likes on the channel. Wonder what we do for the next 20 minutes then. I don't know. We'll just kind of sit right here. We'll listen in to MRN and walk back and forth with Fox as well, or Prime, or whatever you want to call it. But let's go look through the field here really quick to see who was fastest in practice. Carson Hocevar, Michael McDowell, Tyler Reddick, Austin Cindric, Chris Buescher, William Byron, Denny Hamlin, Eric Jones, Christopher Bell, and a $5 super chat from Mark. Thank you, Mark, for the $5 super chat. Everybody tell Mark thank you for the $5 super chat. We appreciate you. Thanks so much. Christopher Bell, 9th. John Hunter Nemechek, 10th. 11th, Joey Logano. Bubba Wallace, 12th. Ty Gibbs, 13th. Ryan Blaney, 14th. Alex Bowman, 15th. Noah Gregson, 16th. 17th, Brad Keselowski. 18th, Ross Chastain. 19th, Justin Haley. 20th, Chase Elliott. 21st, Kyle Busch. 22nd, Chase Briscoe. 23rd, Austin Dillon. 24th, Cole Custer. Zane Smith, 25th. Kyle Larson, 26th. Todd Dillon, 27th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 28th. Riley Herbst, 29th. And let's see, 30th, Daniel Suarez. SVG, 31st. Allmendinger, 32nd. 33rd was Ryan Priest. 34th was Josh Berry. 35th was Cody Ware. Ty Dillon, 36th. And Catherine Legg, 37th. If you want to scroll back up here and you can look at lap averages here. William Byron was overall on lap average. Tyler Reddick was 5 lap average. Michael McDowell was fastest in the 10 lap average. Tyler Reddick was the 15th. Zane Smith was the 20th. Kyle Larson was 25th fastest on the laps, and Kyle Larson was 30th as well. So there you go. There you have it for practice. Let's listen in now.
Harry.
Yeah, I actually am here in Michael McDowell's pits, and I want to go to a guy that I love. I call him the Mad Hatter, Travis Peterson. Travis, 60-something laps, 44 laps on those red tires, the soft tires. What did you think?
You know, I was surprised they held on pretty good. Obviously, most people were on yellows there, so we got a really good read. Obviously, had an advantage for a while. We kind of got to a point where we leveled off, but I don't think we really got significantly worse. Michael came in there because he did feel like it was fading a little bit, but I think, you know, we got good data for going into tomorrow and plans for Reds.
Well, Micah, he's the one that's got to make the choices. You're the one that gets to drive them. What did you think between the two sets of tires?
Well, definitely the Reds did what we thought they would. They had more grip. I was pleasantly surprised about the balance difference between the two tires, and they did hold on pretty decent there. So I'm glad we did what we did, a little bit off sequence there, just so we had apples to apples compare, same track time, same track temp, and that'll help us kind of play out the strategy. But when it comes to strategy, I don't worry about it. I let him worry about it. I just try to make as fast as laps as I can. But the workhorse Chevy was good there. You know, we'll see. Qualifying here is important, so we'll go out there and try to lay down a lap.
All right, Jamie Little, what do you have?
Well, Catherine Legg officially has her first Cup practice session in the books. What are your thoughts and feelings after you get out of that race car?
Lots and lots
What's
of
up,
feelings,
Steve? Good to see you. Here's Catherine Legg.
I'm still shaking. I know the nerves. I don't think anybody realizes like what a tall order this is to get in a car that you've never driven on a track that you've never driven with 36 other guys that are really freaking good, right? But we did it. That one's out the way. I'm going to go qualify super conservatively and then look at a bunch of data, watch a bunch of videos, and hopefully I'll get a long race tomorrow that I can learn more.
It's good to see you out here. Have fun.
Thanks.
Mike?
Well, her lap times came down a second from beginning to the end of the session. She is the first woman to compete in NASCAR's Premier Series since 2018. So a lot to work on here with the choice of tires. And again, everybody has to qualify on the primary tire. But the option tires, the two sets of those, can be used at any time during the race.
Sorry about that.
Start.
I see where you went there with that, Danny.
Although I think everybody agrees to keep a set available for a short run at the finish, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think you got to be in a position to have a set of those at the end. And in the beginning, you might be behind and want to get off strategy and try to make up some track position. So, be interesting.
For the win, NWSL takes you inside the high-stakes drama of the 2024 National Women's Soccer League playoffs and championships. Exclusive behind the scenes.
All right, so we got about 15 more minutes or so. What's up, Dime Entertainment Independent Media? Hey, CeeLo, brother and Chad, it's me, Mike D. I was doing stuff with my YouTube, and I can't change my name back for 10 more days. It's got my business name stuck for now. Okay, hey. All good, but I like that. Dime Entertainment Independent Media. I like it, man. Pretty good. Awesome. But welcome in, everybody. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Trying to get to 30,500 on our subscribers. And trying to get to 200 likes. Here's Kyle Larson.
In a number of laps on there, what did you feel the difference between the two?
A lot of grip in the Reds, for sure. Yeah, and then once you go to the yellows, it feels fairly normal, I guess. So I don't know. It's hard to really get a true read when it's on different rubber, right? Like when you go back to the yellows, it feels completely different, and then you don't really trust maybe what you feel. So, which everybody's probably got the same thoughts running through their mind. But overall, I mean, I thought my HendrickCars.com Chevy was pretty decent. Yeah, so we'll see. Just got to make smart decisions when you have two different tires like that. So we'll talk about it a lot more, get through qualifying, and then see what kind of adjustments we need to make.
Well, Jamie, that's a strategy from Kyle Larson. What do you have down there?
Well, Chris Buescher and Brad Keselowski both just talking things over. Chris, I watched your hands, a lot of hand gestures. So what's your takeaway?
We see those 17s.
Yeah, it's loud back here, so it's the only thing I can get across right now. You know what? For us to come out with this Kroger Fries, Thomas's Bagel Mustang, and be this good for fire off speed, that's a big step for us in the right direction.
Five had his year last year and couldn't close it out. You're right.
The last several years, so we're just trying to figure out how to balance that fire off with the long run. The tire is definitely a little bit of a curve at it, but it's pretty similar on both of them. So I think if we can tune this hot rod in for one tire or the other, I think it'll carry over to either.
How about you, Brad? Co-driver and boss man, what's your takeaway from the tire? Do you think it'll make enough of a difference tomorrow in this race, especially with the temperatures going up a little bit?
Yeah, we've done a lot of work as a team to get our cars faster, and then you got the variables, Jamie, of the new tire and different practice session routines. So you're kind of like trying to decipher what's the car, what's the tire, what's what across the board, and so different setups in our two cars, trying to be better as a team, and Chris certainly had some pretty good fire-off speed and looks really strong.
Well, Brad, last week, I should say, at Circuit of the Americas, we saw you get kind of carted off. You had issues. Your cooling system failed. First off, you look fine. Are you okay? And is it going to work this weekend?
Yeah, I think we switched to a new system, had a steeper learning curve than we'd like to have had, Jamie, but I'm great, and I feel really good about this weekend.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Well, that's good to hear. Yep, that was a tough last few laps for Brad Keselowski at COTA. Getting ready for qualifying for Sunday's Shriners.
All right, so Shriners Children's 500 on Sunday. We'll be bringing you coverage. I think it starts at 2:30. We'll be on at 2 p.m. Central. Coming up here in a second, I'll put in the pin message the Xfinity race that'll be coming on here after we'll go live about 3:30 Central for pre-race and the green flag at 4 o'clock for the GOVX 200 here at Phoenix. So hope you guys have had a great Saturday morning with me. Glad you're enjoying the race, the qualifying and practices we've had for you guys. Thanks so much for the new members. Thanks IR Geek for the gifted memberships today. Anybody that signed up for becoming a member today, you have access to those emojis. I do apologize, members of Pro and MVP. I could not get the vlog out on Friday fast enough for you guys to have early access. With my new gig and my job, I don't really have much time, so I will try to do better on that. But I appreciate you guys watching the vlog. We have a new vlog we release every Friday here on our channel. We release a paint scheme and race weekend preview every Friday on our channel to get you ready for the weekends here on our channel and hanging out watching the races. If you can even sit here watch us with us, you can actually at least know what's going to happen when this weekend, where they're at, where the paint schemes look like. I give you some NASCAR news. I recap the race before the last week, my picks to win, my favorite paint schemes, all that good stuff in that vlog. So make sure you check that out. Always hit that like on that and make sure you comment too, because it helps the algorithm below as well. So thank you guys so much. If you're a member, make sure you're using those emojis. They change every time for all of the races. So make sure you're using those emojis to cheer on your drivers. This is a fan-friendly, driver-friendly, interactive chat. Everybody doesn't like their own driver, some other drivers. That's okay. You can trash talk those drivers. Just be nice about it. That's what NASCAR is all about. You boo your drivers you don't like. You thumbs up the drivers that you like. And be nice to everybody that's in the chat. So thank you guys so much. Let's see what MRN's got to say.
as well. Just watching Kyle's screen there, he was looking at the lines, and Todd, it's almost like how much data can you, or data, I know you two are debating that up there, how much of that information can you process in this short window before qualifying?
He didn't get hurt, I guess that's why he didn't suspend him.
I think it all matters, and you look at it, that's why you bring extra engineers with you. You've got people back at the shop looking through this data as well to come up with what you need for qualifying. You're trying to put that together, and you've got to implement that in the next 10 minutes so that we can put these cars in line to go qualify. So it's going to be interesting to watch how this plays out. Kyle talked about it. They get to go pretty early. The racetrack's got rubber in it. Not a benefit to be early there.
Kyle also mentioned last week the challenges that they had of Circuit of the Americas. One of those challenges included losing a tire on the racetrack. And because of that, Blaine Anderson and Brandon Johnson have been suspended. Those two crew members, the jackman and the tire changer, have been suspended.
Thank you for sharing your time and reminding everyone to be nice. Thank you, Fran.
So the team chemistry, the team dynamic is going to be a little different. And of course, that was one of many news.
Let's listen in. Here's Logano and Hendrick.
Very congested news week. And we'll touch base
celebrate
on that
right there.
In
this is March. A lot of difference. What do you think about these two tire combinations?
Yeah, I mean, it's I haven't had enough time to dissect what exactly just happened there yet. As our mind's kind of focused on qualifying. We got a good starting spot for our Hunt Brothers Pizza Mustang, and yeah, I mean, it seems like we're in the ballpark. I think needs to work on our car turning a little bit more, but I think we can maybe dial that in tomorrow.
So Austin, you were fourth quickest, so I don't know if you worked on any qualifying stuff. What do you think about your two car?
I think we're decent. I mean, I think a lot of small knobs compared to where we were in the,
I like to see it better
in the fall, and obviously trying to understand that red tire and give ourselves the best chance to use it effectively tomorrow. I think it's going to be pretty key. And obviously, our Menards Monster Ford Mustang's pretty quick. I think just fine tuning the two ends.
Well, Jamie, I would say Joey and Austin will both be players tomorrow.
Absolutely. How about John Hunter Nemechek? Has not been a great racetrack for you, but top 10 speed there. You didn't turn a ton of laps. I think you were mid-30s, not as many as most. Did you get what you wanted out of it? Did you learn what you needed to?
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest with you. We elected to start off on reds there and make a really long run on reds, and came in for an adjustment, and then we elected to do a couple qualifying runs there on the hard tire. So just a couple laps on those. Vice versa of what our teammate Eric did. So trying to learn something here at Legacy Motor Club. With that being said, I feel decent about our speed. We just got to get our car driving a little bit better. I got to do a little bit better job executing for qualifying, which was why we elected to do some qualifying runs. So hopefully it helps us here going into qualifying. Hopefully we can have a decent starting spot. Track position plays a big factor here at Phoenix, and dirty air sucks. So excited to see what our Pi Barker Toyota Camry XSE will do here, and looking forward to racing here tomorrow.
All right, that's John Hunter Nemechek.
Thanks, Jamie. Well, this season,
Josh Berry, Roma.
Ford has led all the laps. Well, twice as many as anybody else.
Except the ones that count.
Except the last one, exactly. Chevrolet with a win, and Toyota now with two, both for Christopher Bell.
Well, this is really where a lot of the season starts to progress through what we would refer to from a driver's standpoint as a normal racetrack with normal conditions of that downforce style racing, not the super speedway style. So it'll be interesting to see who rises to the top this week at Phoenix.
All right, you've had a practice session, 45 minutes. You've been on two different sets of tires. Now you got to process what that primary tire does, because you only get one lap in qualifying.
Yeah, and you really, for me as a driver, when I would go out of the pits here, I wanted to go hard and get into turn one as hard as I could, so that I could kind of feel what my car was doing. But most importantly, get some heat in the tires to try to make sure that you got a good run down the back straightaway into turn three. So really one of the characteristics of this car that you don't want to do is overdrive the entry. Because if you overdrive the entry to this car and you miss those marks and that yellow line like we've been talking, you're in big trouble.
And that point, look no further than what Joey Logano told us. I have no idea what just happened. I'll worry about that later. I have to focus on hitting my marks and trying to figure out the grip level of my tires. This is probably one of the hardest qualifying sessions because all this chaotic tire mess ahead of their qualifying session that they'll have.
Well, just call it a Control-Alt-Delete reset. Complete reset of the driver to get ready to qualify. That's next.
All right. Qualifying coming up next, y'all. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Let's go back to MRN Radio as We'll look at the lineup first. Catherine Legg is going to go first. Ty Gibbs, Suarez, Cody Ware, Austin Dillon, Ryan Priest, Zane Smith, Allmendinger, Josh Berry, Kyle Lawson, Ty Dillon, Cole Custard, get the ice cream out this weekend. Eric Jones, Austin Cindric. Now, Austin Cindric, if you don't know, if you didn't get to hear our paint scheme race weekend preview or heard any news this week, Austin Cindric was fined $50,000 or $5,000, and he lost 50 points. So he is now way at the bottom of the thing. Chase Briscoe got a bunch of points back, so he's back up in the point standings as NASCAR found that the rear spoiler was not illegal. Thank you, Nicholas, for subscribing as well. So 2 drivers going opposite directions in the standings. Joey Logano could be strong here tomorrow. Denny Hamlin, Toyota. Hey, we'll see what happens. John Hunter Nemechek, Brad Keselowski, Riley Herbst, Justin Haley, Bubba Wallace, Ricky Stenhouse, Recce, Ross Chastain, Chase Briscoe. There he is. There's my dark horse for tomorrow. Noah Gragson, Ryan Blaney. He's my pick to win tomorrow. Carson Hocevar, who was fastest in practice. We'll see what he can do. Todd Gilliland, Michael McDowell, who lost his crew chief for this race. He failed inspection twice, so that sucks for him. SVG, they're in 30th. Chris Buescher, Alex Bowman, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, and Willie B will be your qualifying order. They get 1 lap and 1 lap only. 1 shot. You get 1 shot. So we'll see what happens here. Let's go to MRN Radio.
22 when he stormed into the NASCAR Cup Series with
Thank you, Roger.
Here at Phoenix, and
he's good here, man.
Last year, he's looking for win number 3, and he's that good. This 19 team that he takes over for Joe Gibbs Racing.
Fix your camera. I can't read anything.
They could be a handful here tomorrow.
Richard, zoom in then.
Chase will be the 24th car to qualify here in a few moments. From Phoenix Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
All right. Listen to Carson Hocevar.
We kind of did a little bit of everything. We got to run reds, yellows, and then fired off on a mock. And yeah, I think it's super important to be able to fire off with a lot of speed like that. And hopefully we'll have a little bit of notes to go off of when we get to qualify, and being able to qualify up front is going to be super important.
Well, I know that the option is yours tomorrow in the crew chiefs. You don't even have to run that new softer tire. But right now, if you were to choose,
make sure you're on 1080p, Richard. Yeah, I think you might be on like 330 on YouTube. No matter where make sure you're on 1080p. It'll make the stream
That's why I think we
clear.
Focused on qualifying. Was number one, 17 wants to make the playoffs, so we need to bank every point we can get and start up front. But also, too, we don't want to put ourselves in a bad spot and have to run the reds earlier.
You're welcome, Stray Dog.
It's minor Chevrolet, minor everybody. They have 100-something people out here. It's a big one for them. And Spire Motorsports to be able 1-2 in practice is really strong. And for us and Chevrolet and everybody from the Hendrick engine shop, that gives us really good horses, and they help us out a lot. So it's fun to show a lot of speed so far this early in the year.
Yeah, well done. We'll see how you do in qualifying. Mike?
Sounds like a driver who's hoping to pile up a bunch of stage points here tomorrow. So we're getting ready. Cars are rolling out into position for single round, single lap qualifying. Everybody on the primary tire.
12 gets the pole, Richard says.
1 round, 1 lap.
Richard, did that help going to 1080p?
Here we go. Catherine Legg from England.
Catherine Legg.
Veteran IndyCar and IMSA driver, driving for BJ McLeod's Live Fast Motorsports in the Droplight Chevrolet. Droplight, an investment strategy firm. 4 Indy 500 starts for Legg, making her Cup debut. Had a fast lap in practice of 28:15.
Well, she's going to continue to learn right here, because this car is going to be a little bit different than it even was in practice right there. So we heard her say she was going to be really conservative.
BJ McLeod.
I like that plan. There's nothing really gained for her yet, right? Get into this race, make the laps, and learn tomorrow on Sunday.
37 cars here, the 36 chartered cars, and this entry from BJ McLeod's team. So
hey, she's on the pole.
Will start the Shriners Children's 500 tomorrow.
Yeah, let's go to MRN.
28:06, a little quicker than what she practiced.
That's good. I mean, another step in the right direction, getting more used to the car.
There, 28 laps.
Yeah, that's a great improvement.
And less time at the pump. E3 spark plugs.
They're still not
speed,
on.
Domination. Get yours today.
Car is qualified already. That car belongs to B.J. McLeod and Live Fast Motorsports. Catherine Legg, making her NASCAR Cup Series debut here this weekend. She's a known sports car specialist. She's got podium finishes in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. She just turned in a time of 28.06
it's Amazon
seconds,
Prime IR.
28.297 miles an hour.
As Ty Gibbs takes the green flag, let's hear from Joey Logano with Steve Post.
Joey will be the 16th car to go out onto the racetrack. Joey,
Amazon
I'm looking over
Prime.
your shoulder at this start-finish line over here. There's still some donut marks over there from last fall. What's it like coming back to a place like Phoenix where you've had so many good memories with a couple of championships?
It's special for sure. I mean, the memories do come back to you quite a bit, but you also, you got to remember, it doesn't matter anymore. It's over, and it's nice while it lasted, but we gotta go do it again. And
Gibbs on the top.
Brothers Pizza Ford Mustangs,
27.68.
Not sure it's quite as good as what we had in the fall, but I think
Here's
we're
Suarez.
just a couple adjustments away from having that. So I think we're in the ballpark, and we'll see what we can do here for qualifying.
We shall see, that's for sure. That's Joey Logano, our reigning champion here, back at the scene of the time when he won that championship. That's one of my favorite memories, is right out here. Him and the family took a walk up, grabbed the checkered flag, and celebrated all down together. I know he's got a lot of work to do to get back here in the fall, but Joey Logano, this place has been very, very special to him and really everybody at Team Penske.
Ty Gibbs just set the fastest lap, 27.681 seconds. 130.053 miles an hour. Daniel Suarez is on the clock as we go trackside and talk to a driver that's trying to become a 3-time Phoenix winner.
And Mike, that's Denny Hamlin. He's got the Sports Clips colors here this weekend at Phoenix. Denny, what did you learn in practice that may translate to qualifying here?
Not a whole lot, but I was in traffic most of the practice. But I feel like qualifying here is going to be a lot about hitting your marks and whatnot, and hopefully we do a good job of that today.
Obviously, when we go racing on Sunday, we've got 2 different tires. What was the learning process between the option and the primary?
Yeah, the option is just a great short track tire. We should just copy and paste and put it on all short tracks, and we'll have great racing.
Appreciate your time. That's Denny Hamlin trying to become, like you guys said, a 3-time Phoenix winner this weekend.
Daniel Suarez goes to the top of the leaderboard so far in qualifying.
Suarez
Ty Gibbs is second. Catherine Legg is third of the 3 drivers that have taken time. Let's hear from Riley Herbst. Steve Post is alongside.
Riley, your first 3 races are all 17th place finishes. I know you're a rookie, and I know you don't race for 17th place finishes, but
Coila, welcome back, Coila.
Consistency, and as you guys try to build a little foundation with this new race team.
Yeah, we'll take it. It's kind of odd that all 3 races ended up in the 17th, but just solid foundation for us on the 35 team to continue to build and get better each week.
This racetrack very good to you in the Xfinity Series. Last
I
time
hope a whole bunch, Bobby.
How did Xfinity knowledge translate
Cody
to
Ware.
Cup Series here with practice today, or doesn't it?
Absolutely nothing. Yeah, nothing. It's all different. It's a different race car. Everything's
Cody
different
Ware,
about it.
a 28.06.
Practice, learning about it, learning off my teammates, and we'll go qualify here.
We'll go qualify. That's Riley Herbst from not too far away.
This isn't the
Gonna go qualify
CW, Steve.
Riley has spent the last 5 years in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, 1 year with JGR,
2,
4 years
right.
with Stewart Haas Racing. Matter of fact, when we raced
Austin
here in
Dillon
November,
now.
Riley Herbst was celebrating in victory lane as the
Thank you so much, guys. Hit that like, hit that subscribe.
Is getting set to climb
Trying to get to
his race car
200
go
likes, y'all. Hit that like.
qualifying.
Over
One-time
600
winner
in
the
here.
NASCAR Cup Series. Did
200
that at
likes. Help us
Daytona.
out.
He's getting ready to make his 148th career NASCAR Cup Series starts. Let's hear from Justin Haley.
And he shows up to Phoenix Raceway, Alex Hayden, with a guy who knows about winning at Phoenix, and that's his crew chief, Rodney Childers, who's done it 5 times. So, coming here with Rodney for the first time, how's it been, and how's the race car after that 45 minutes?
Yeah, we didn't unload great with our Gamebred Chevy, but Rodney and everyone on the 7 team did a great job getting it to a happy balance for me, so we'll see what we got in qualifying here and move on.
You lost a couple pit crew members with the Hendrick Motorsports kind of swap, with them going over to the 5 car for Kyle Larson. How does that change Sunday, or are those guys ready to go?
I got full confidence in Hendrick Motorsports and their pit crew department, so no changes. Going to go try to win.
All right, that's Justin Haley. Goal is simple: try to win here at Phoenix. He qualifies here in just a little bit.
Cody Ware has turned in a time of 27.826 seconds. That's good for 4th of the 5 drivers that have taken time so far. Austin Dillon just completed his lap, 27.322 seconds, 131.762 miles an hour. That puts him number 1 on the leaderboard.
Let's go back and kind of expand just a bit on what Chris Wilner and Justin Haley were just talking about here, Todd Gordon. The fact that the 2 suspended crew members from Kyle Larson's team by rule after the wheel came off the car on the racetrack last week, the next 2 crew members up for Larson's team have to come from somewhere else. How does this dynamic work? And we're talking specifically now with the Hendrick Motorsports.
Okay, well, they're not covering qualifying like I like.
Yeah, the major cup organizations.
And I think that little bit of difference will probably hurt the 3 car from not gaining that time. But the other thing to think about is that entry into turn 1, being able to get all the way back up to the wall quick enough so that it doesn't cut the racetrack off after you cut the apron.
Priest is second.
So Austin Dillon, Ryan Priest, Suarez.
Zane Smith. Now his best finish of the season, 11th at Atlanta. Won a truck race here in 2022 in the Aaron's rent-to-own Ford.
Now you heard him. Did you hear that conversation, Clint? They were talking about how deep to drive into the corner. My advice, as you heard, don't drive it in any deeper than you did in race trim.
I think that point is on display with Leggy. Look at her lap time. It was 0.3 faster than what she ran. And she literally said, I'm going out and giving a very conservative approach to this qualifying lap, and that's what she did, and let the car do the work. The car will pick up. The tires, bumping the air pressures up, that grip level will pick you up all on its own.
Well, Zane Smith looked like he was going to the top of the chart when he entered turn 3. He lost a bit in 3 and 4. I'm going to try, Jake. Austin Dillon's time, and here's A.J. Allmendinger.
Thursday.
Yeah,
in the Celsius Energy Drink Chevrolet.
Tennessee's not going to play till Friday if we win.
The car costs about $350,000, so you might as well let it do its job, Clint.
Allmendinger, the dinger.
I've had some that cost $350,000, but I don't think they were worth that. But I've also had some that I didn't think were worth quite that ended up showing up on payday and did just fine.
I like how AJ came to the approach of turn 1 and 2 right there. I always like to run as close to the same line on my warm-up lap as I did on my fast lap, to just anything that I could do to get in rhythm, get the visuals, and get a feel for my car as early as possible.
Down on the line like you talked about. Looks a little free down there.
The dinger. I don't think he's going to retire Harley.
See, I
don't think so at all.
Maybe the engine shops do like it, but I don't like that little short shift down the back straightaway right there. I'd rather let it just bang on the red.
Watch it, Harvick.
All right, P1 right there, bud. Good luck.
27-22.
And I think that process for AJ, I mean, he did a good job through turns 1 and 2. His car was too loose, but I don't know how much of a
Josh Berry
lift or anything that he had to do on the exit there, but he definitely had the car in the right spot.
Josh Berry now, let me see those 21s.
59 in practice.
Well, Josh Berry's best finish here was 10th when he was subbing for Chase Elliott in 2023 in the spring. This is the Wood Brothers Aero Ford. They make Wi-Fi systems, and they're new. They'll be on the Wood Brothers car as primary sponsor for 3 races this year.
Good arc into the corner. Slid up a little bit in the middle, but bringing it back down.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, anything you can do to stay below that seam is going to be good. If you can get a diamond and get it timed right to be able to get that left front tire back on the yellow line on the exit, that is not a bad corner at all.
Because MRN was doing a horrible job. They're talking instead of talking about qualifying.
Was able to put the power down early, right to the top of the board, 27.08.
That's a massive
Josh
pickup.
Berry, look at that.
Almost 6/10 from his practice lap.
It's going to show you what the track has. I like going back to our conversation at the top of this qualifying. they started on soft tires, ended on the hard tires that they knew they were going to have to be on in qualifying. I like that plan.
So here's the HendrickCars.com Chevrolet for Kyle Larson, who won here and won the championship in 2021. He has more top 5s and top 10s here than any other racetrack, but this season, just one top 10 finish, 3rd at Atlanta.
A little bit different strategy there, Clint. Easy into turn 3, kind of up the hill to be able to get in the throttle sooner to see if he can gain some more straightaway speed. Be interesting to see how that works out.
Lawson
slid up the racetrack a little bit there, got it rotated, kind of diamond the corner a little bit. It's right there with Josh Berry. Same thing, easy into the corner here. Got on the apron a little bit and washed up. Look at this.
Yeah, you can't, lost it. You cannot hit the apron.
He was
going to
have the pole, but he messed up in the turn.
Last year in qualifying for that exact reason, but it cost Kyle Larson the pole right there for the current time being.
Not only the pole, a lot of speed there.
10 of 30.
All right, so 10 drivers completed. Josh Berry, the fastest. Allmendinger, Lawson, Dillon, Zane Smith, Ryan Preece, Daniel Suarez, Ty Gibbs, Cody Ware, Catherine Ligg. Out of these 10 drivers, who will stay in the top 10? Of course, there is no other round 2, but for fun, out of these 10 drivers, who stays in the top 10? Let me see your votes in the chat. I'm going to say Josh Berry, Allmendinger, Larson. I think everybody else, I say 3. Ronnie says none. Roma says Barry. Catherine, we'll see. Cole. Lou says 5. Top 2 for Roger, maybe Barry. Taterhead says Barry. IR says AJ. SVG for Bobby. Lawson, Roseanne. 21 for Barry, for Mark. None for like, dislike. None for Richard as well. Dirty C says 0. Kyle Lawson, Josh Berry. Josh Berry, what's up? CeeLo, what's up, Bill? Good to see you. Possible Bowman to the top 10. We'll see. And here is Ryan Blaney, my pick to win this weekend. Ryan Blaney.
So what are you expecting from qualifying?
Yeah, hopefully we can put a decent lap down. It'll be interesting. You know, we started on the primes, went to the options to end, and now we got to qualify on the primes. So it's like, all right, how hard can I drive this thing for qualifying? So it's all those little things that go into your head. But yeah, I thought our car was pretty good.
Thank you, John Davidson, for subbing. Appreciate you, John.
Big difference between the primes and the
Wishful
options,
SPG,
so
but yeah, I know, Ron.
Pretty huge on, you know, kind of
T. Lee says Barry and Larson.
You want to play your race, you know, and it might be kind of position driven, but appreciate Goodyear for working on a hard tire to, you know, figure out, you know, how soft you get.
You're welcome, Roma.
It falls off well, and it did that. So, but yeah, appreciate Ford, appreciate the Worth Group. We got a fast Mustang, and hopefully we qualify well too.
You know, Ryan Blaney is always a factor when it comes to Phoenix, Mike.
Absolutely.
Well, that's the first one that was like a big difference in the tire. Yeah. So that was an interesting
20 gets 3 wins in a row. We'll see.
From Blaney. So these guys and their teams that drive these cars and their teams are going to have a lot of work to do to kind of decipher all the information and things that they got during practice and be able to adjust their car and start to develop a strategy for tomorrow with the 2 sets of those softer tires.
So Ty Dillon will be the 11th driver to qualify. Best finish this season, 14th at Daytona. He has an 11th place finish here in 2017. Robert. This is the Hybrid Light Chevrolet.
Ty Dillon.
They make solar rechargeable flashlight speakers and headlamps.
Richard was showing me one of those lights. Those things are awesome. Thing is, not only solar
power
charges your lights, but you could plug it into your phone.
We'll see, Greg.
I mean, I don't know why that idea wasn't out already, but the thing's genius.
Yeah, I do. T. Lee, Robert Presley.
The great outdoors.
Did he drive the 55?
Those. They're sweet.
Well, what we need right now is some speed, Clint.
Come on, Debbie.
Yeah.
I'm trying to sell flashlights out here.
Ty Dillon doing Ty Dillon things.
In the corner right there and up the racetrack, and that's what we're talking about.
11th fastest.
This next gen car, you just cannot overdrive the entry to the corner and miss the bottom here.
This is for the pole. They're not doing the top 10 anymore, except super speedways.
So far.
Currently P5.
Yeah, so that's a 4/10 pickup from practice. So still improved.
Here's Cole Custard.
Practice, so it's definitely going to be. All right, a lot from there.
So
better.
if you think it ought to say Cole Custard,
get you some ice
above
cream.
the door on this car, raise your hand. I know everybody at home does. The Andes frozen custard. What is it? Well, it says custard on the windshield because it has to. Okay. Andes has 140 locations in 15 states, and fortunately, there's a couple around Charlotte and
started right there in
Salem,
the Ozark area where I frequent quite often, and I've been very guilty of rolling in there several times a day, as a matter of fact.
Haas automation on the hood.
See where he places. 6th fastest.
Getting into the corner. Didn't seem to cost him a lot of speed.
No, I think when you
like
look
he's gonna
back
be
at Kyle
6th
Larson
fastest, maybe
and
5th.
touching the apron right there, and you saw Cole about a foot up off the apron.
5th.
You want to be on that yellow line to be perfect, but it's a fine line between touching the apron and not.
5th for Custer. Here is Eric Jones, who finished 12th in the Daytona 500. And the most recent of his 4 Phoenix
I told
top
you,
10s
Fords,
came
baby.
in 2019. This is the Family Dollar Toyota.
Me too, Bronny. Me too. Here is Eric Jones. Those Toyotas, baby. We got a pole sitter. Oh, here comes Barry for the last second. Oh, go be close.
You saw Eric rifle that thing off into the corner, and he actually went to the
We got a
second
new pole
groove with
sitter.
a huge diamond there.
We'll see what happens here.
He's got a good car. He's 8th in practice.
Family Dollar Toyota. Oh, just a bumper.
For him.
there, man. 2709.
P2.
3 1,000ths off of Josh Berry there in second place for Eric Jones right now.
All right, here is Austin Cindric. My guy Barry qualifying so good all the dang time. Yes, sir. He's pretty good, CSX.
Austin Cindric rolls out. Has 2 Xfinity wins here, but still looking for his first Cup top 10. This is the Menards Monster Energy Ford for Team Penske.
Austin was 4th quick in practice, so this will give us a good indication of what the track is doing right now compared to when he did his run in practice.
Now Chase Briscoe was
he doesn't have Monster on his car.
Don't see that.
Oh, he does have Monster on his car. Wow, he does.
Not sure what's happened there.
Good gosh, they're everywhere.
A little wide on the exit here. Gave up a little speed. That hook, but Josh Berry hooked that bottom, was able to, the car answered the call, got rotated down to the throttle quick.
All right, here's Joey. Really Let me see those 22s out there. Who's a 22 fan?
Gets in the corner with him.
My Laganos. Let me see them.
Yeah, it's just so important to be able to get that car in the right spot at the end of the first third of the corner, to be able to go back to partial throttle and really get the speed in your car that you need through the middle of the corner and on exit.
All right, Joey Logano rolls out.
There you go, dry sipped.
In the Hunt Brothers Pizza.
Boo the 22.
Team Penske.
We can't show it, Avalon.
You know they have 10,000 locations. It seems like where we are, there's one on every corner, every gas station.
I'm a little bit biased to the Hunt Brothers Pizza brand, so I'm a big fan of those locations, Mike.
Well, if you're out on the road enjoying the great outdoors, Kevin, doing a little hunting on the road, you have to, that is a clutch stop right there. Always count on a Hunt Brothers.
All right, now here's what happened with Chase Briscoe. He was supposed to go just before Austin Cindric.
The kid can drive. I'm just not a fan.
He was overturned.
Amen.
Not only did he get all his
there.
points back, but he also got to run later in the
Logano,
order.
P1, baby.
Right after,
how about that?
The 1 car.
22 on the pole.
Yeah, that's a great pickup.
All right, Denny. So show me how it's done, baby. Toyota.
Just under 0.3 of a second.
Where's my Denny fans?
Logano and his pickup. He had an interesting strategy leaving the pits, Clint. He went slow, I assume, dragging the brake, trying to get some heat in the tires through 1 and 2.
Show him, Denny. Let's go, baby.
Because I was kind of trying to establish that. Where's going to be the threshold? What's going to be the pickup? 2, 3 tenths, 4 tenths?
Larson already did.
And it looks like somewhere around that 3 tenths.
It's Denny time.
3.5 tenths is going to be where it's at.
Kevin Avalon,
so
here you go.
Hamlin in the Sport Clips Toyota finished 6th at Atlanta, his 1 top 10 this year.
stayed out on the racetrack, and look at the speed that he lost.
Yeah, he gave up a car and a half before he even got to turn 1.
NASCAR
right,
pit
may
behind
only be 50 feet, but it sure makes a difference.
You told us his 2 car lengths. Look.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that distance
It's
that he
BYOB.
gave up by not
Bring
cutting
your
the
own
racetrack
broadcast.
right there is probably the distance that he was behind at the
Love
end.
it, Cole.
100%.
13
Diddy
100
who?
So
Ah,
I
Diddy.
think
Bad.
there's also a coming to the
P4, I'll
green
take
piece
it.
of that too. How much throttle and how
He
much
won't be
speed
there in
did
the
he
end,
have
though.
on the exit of turn 4, going into
Danny
the
says,
start-finish
"Hey."
line down into turn 1. So
There's definitely more
John
layers
Hunter
to it, but, I
Nemechek.
mean, it's a simple fact. It was literally 2 car lengths. We showed it, and that's exactly what it gave up. Everybody on pit road from now on, I guarantee you, every crew chief is reminding their driver, hey, make sure you cut the dog leg off.
When are you driving
Hunter
Denny's
Nemechek.
Voodoo car this weekend? I don't
Finished
know. We
top
might
10 in
we'll
2
see if
of
we can
this
do
season's
something this
3
weekend. I don't
races.
know.
He's
Got a lot
in
of
the
stuff going
Clyde
on.
Barker Fire and Safety Toyota from Legacy Motor Club.
Thank you for having this channel. Gotta have 5
Racing
different
fired
streaming
off in
apps
the
just to
corner,
follow
up
the
the
sport.
racetrack you go, and it's
Thank
just,
you, Joshua. Appreciate it.
That's a really hard thing for all these guys that are so used to Xfinity cars and trucks and all the other divisions. You drive the car harder into the
Hit that
corner.
like, y'all. Trying to get to
When
300
you
likes.
drive this car harder
300.
into the corner,
300.
it doesn't stick.
He's not going to, I mean, that was a costly error, too. He was a 10th place car in practice at 27.30. Really backed up there a lot, clear to a 27.84, 16th on the board.
Well, the old theory
There's
was
Bad
I can
Brad.
get a little bit more getting in the corner. And it's so hard to be disciplined. You have to do everything in this car is discipline. And that corner entry, you have to stay disciplined to not overdrive the car because it's so inviting and so easy to drive this car in the corner hard.
Well, those
Any
marks,
Bad Brad fans out
markers,
there?
Rather, getting
Greg?
into turn 1 are a little bit different, especially when you cut that dog leg off. He hadn't been practicing that. That's another thing, another layer you got to put in that thought bank to make sure that you hit those marks and count that in.
Brad Keselowski taking the dog leg, cutting the dog leg there. Finished 4th in this race last year. He's only Phoenix top 10 in his last 6 starts. It's the Consumer Cellular Ford.
Got back to the throttle.
Has Tyler ran yet? No, he is not.
Underneath of him, and the rest
He has
is
not.
You see the gap.
Well, that's that wheel unwinding that I'm talking about, Clint. When it steps out and you're not expecting it, you haven't got that wheel unwound already. It really
he had a
really hurts
foot
the
to
lap.
the floor too. You're full committed. I mean, this is a 1 lap, trying to figure the grip level out.
Riley
trying to
Herbst.
push as hard as you can.
So 8th for Keselowski. Here's Riley Herbst. We're going to his home track next week in Las Vegas. He has finished in the 17th in every race.
He ain't
this
gone
year.
yet, Gregory.
It's his first Phoenix Cup start. He won the
He hasn't
Xfinity
gone
race
yet
here
either,
last
Roma.
November. It's the Monster Energy Toyota.
There's no way if you told me somebody was going to finish in the same position of those 3 races at Daytona, Atlanta, and Coda road course.
You're right.
I'm not taking that bet.
Nope.
Nothing.
Well, I was just watching Riley, in his line. He didn't cut the racetrack either, and he was way behind Joey Logano when he got to turn 1, and then he also went in there too hard and got up the racetrack.
2 Fords, 2 Toyotas
most
up
of
front.
The Toyotas have not cut the dog leg.
Yeah.
There's 7
They're
times.
the drivers next to qualify. Joey Logano is quickest so far.
All right. Out of these top 10, how many are going to stay? Logano, Barry? 2, maybe 3? I'm going to go 2. I think 2. 2 of the top 10. I'm going 2. So let me see who you guys got in the chat. How many is going to left in that top 10? Here's who's got to go next. 2. Joshua Like says none. Richard says 2. Car Enthusiast says 2. Mark says 3. Ford will take 6 out of the 10 spots, Joe says. Danny says none. Logano and Barry, Greg, 2, top 2. Going 3 for Dale Earnhardt Sr. Bubba's going to be up there. Chase 2. Chezzy. Sangon says Logano and Barry. Everybody say Logano and Barry. Richard's going 3. Barry from Mike Thompson. But here on your screen is who we got next coming up. Where 2019 cars have already gone. So Justin Haley, Bubba Wallace, Ricky Stenhouse, Ross Chastain, Chase Briscoe, Noah Gragson, Ryan Blaney, Carson Hocevar, Todd Gillen, and Michael McDowell, and SVG are the next 10. So thank you guys for hanging out. Hit that like for us, subscribe. We're trying to get to 30,600. Here is C. Bell, the man of the hour. Could he go 3 straight?
You got any tips for me?
Don't cut the dog leg too much, and don't overdrive turn 1.
Yeah, that seems to be the key. But I'll be honest, qualifying here at Phoenix has been a struggle for us since the introduction of next
What's
year.
up, Lori?
It's just tough. It's really tough to do everything right, and not very many times have I done it right. I think we've made the final round maybe once or twice. A little bit different format now with there only being 1 round of qualifying. I think we have an advantage going out later. It seems like the track lays a bunch of rubber down through practice, and then the first couple cars or the first bit picks the rubber back up and cleans the track back off. So going out later should be an advantage. Hopefully I can just hit my marks, and I think the car will be plenty fast.
Mike, I don't know about getting it right on Saturday, but he's been getting it right on Sunday.
Sure has. 2 wins in a row and going for 3. Here is Justin Haley.
Ryan Preece is P14 for now.
He finished a season best 16th last week at Circuit of the Americas. And he has a top 20 here.
Well, I'm glad Christopher said all that, because those are the things that we've been talking about. But I can't overemphasize how important it is to make sure that you remind your driver of what his marker is getting in the corner.
Thank you, Ron's Way. Ron's Way, thank you so much, Ron's Way.
And Justin just got up to the wall just a
Appreciate
little bit
it. Thank you.
Later than Joey, and it was that got to the wall and then had to turn it right in, and it cost him just a beat.
Yeah, he had to pull the wheel pretty hard to get it down to the bottom, and it got loose.
Well, that's a great animation of what firing it in the corner does. It just cost him that.
So Haley, P4.
He needed.
But he did a good job of getting it gathered up and keeping the car underneath of it.
27.11. 27.11.
It's just all those little details.
Any Bubble fans out there? Bubba.
02, 08, 09, 11. That all those little details stack up, into that half a tenth to a tenth.
Bubba Wallace, 1 top 10 finish this season and 1 front row start.
Whoa.
But he's piled up the stage points, so he is 6th in the standings and has finished top 10 in 2 of the last 3 races here. This is the Lidos Toyota. They're involved in national security and health issues.
Yeah, you saw him coming through 1 and 2 right there. He got that left front tire on the apron and got loose there, Clint.
Well, I think that was.
How are we only up by 8 to the worst team in the league?
Difference of opinion.
Doesn't make a bit of sense.
Get the temperature built up in the tires and the brakes, and he just went out and charged hard, which I don't mind. I've done that too.
Well, I think Logano has definitely had the most drastic difference in how he went on the racetrack and how he went through turns 1 and 2.
He injured his forearm. Oh my gosh!
I feel like he was dragging the brake and didn't really try to press those tires, because sometimes, if you try to do it like a late model where you go in there and just crank the wheels to the left and it chatters the tires, it gets those tires out of balance from a heat and air pressure standpoint.
So here's Ricky Stenhouse Jr., finished 5th at Atlanta, his best of this season. In the
Lone Wolf, 5 gifted memberships. Lone Wolf, thank you, sir. Everybody tell Lone Wolf, thank you.
And is now known as Hayek Racing. This is the Ram self-storage Chevrolet for Stenhouse.
Recky.
Might need to look into that, Kevin. Told me you're moving out.
Recky Spinhouse.
I'll get the number to Ram self-storage.
Somebody tell Recky thank you. Every tell Lone Wolf thank you. Sorry.
For all your stuff.
Trying to get to 300 likes. 300. Help us out. 300.
Putting together some solid finishes as they've gone through the first few weeks right there of the season.
Just put a watermark. No, we don't play that way either, Dry.
13th, 27-33.
13th for Recky. All right, Ross Chastain, watch out.
Race at Coda right from the drop of the green
watch
flag.
out. Chase is coming after you, Ross.
Entry into turn
Let me see those watermelons.
Turn Chase Elliott around. Elliott rebounded for a top 5 finish. But Chastain won here in 2023, leading a career-high 157 laps. This is the Kubota Orange Days Sale event, Chevrolet.
Well, we saw Ross with some big swerves off of pit road to warm his tires, and then full speed through turns 1 and 2. So a lot of different strategies here to get the tires up to temperature.
Yeah, hit those hearts too, y'all. If you see those hearts, hit those hearts.
Whoa! Overcommitted. Got in the corner way too hard. Slid up the. This is going to cost him big.
Yeah.
He's going to want
watermelons.
That lap back.
And that's exactly what we're talking
Kosovar
about.
needs a word, Ross, after the race.
Commitment level in your mind of how you want to go about things, and you think that what you did in practice, but the worst thing that you can do is overdrive the entry to the corner, and he was in good shape going into the entry, but just...
That car was really nervous, too. And even on his coming to the green lap, it was loose through 1 and 2. As soon as he tried to pull down on the wheel getting in, it did not want to cooperate.
Chastain is 15th.
He was loose in 3 and 4 as well.
So now, with the return of the points that Chase Briscoe was penalized for Daytona, this is his position in the order in the number 19, the Bass
Chase, my dark horse this weekend.
Top 10 in 4 of the last 6 Phoenix races, including a win in this race 3 years ago for Chase Briscoe.
Where's my Chase fan, my Briscoe fans?
Well, that penalty would have been a detriment to his qualifying all year with where he was in the points and how
Ross
far he
crashed
was
for
behind.
less.
So that decision has changed a lot of aspects that go with the season. But right now you see he's way behind, didn't have a good 3 and 4 coming to the green. Lost all the speed before he really ever even got going.
Where'd he... 19th for Chase. 27.52.
Matching his car number.
He's not going to be happy with that lap.
19th for Chase.
A lot of racing. The combination
thanks,
of these tires,
IR.
there's going to be some things that are different this time around at Phoenix. Create some opportunities for these guys that are buried, and vice versa. You're going to have to take care of business up front as well.
Well, the strategy of this race is going to be it's going to be very interesting tomorrow. As you see, some of those guys will probably put them on early to try to get some track position, I would assume.
Noah Gragson will go to his home track also next week, Las Vegas. He finished a season's best 8th in Austin, and he's been in the top dozen here the last 2 races at Phoenix. Won here 3 years ago in the Xfinity Series. He's in the Long John Silver's Restaurants
Wow, he is abort the mission. But going back to him, I'm going to give him some praise last weekend. He got roughed up those first 2 races. Wasn't really happy about where they were at. Points, man, that car is nervous getting into the corner. Very loose. But go back to Coda. Right there at the end of the race, they put tires on and was able to really capitalize on an aggressive driver on the
21st fastest for Gragson.
Time. Passed a lot of cars at the end of that race and put themselves in a top 10.
Blaney.
It was a good.
What's up, Jamie? Good to see you, Blaney.
A young race car driver on restarts.
Yeah, it was a very good run. Here's the Ford Performance onboard camera, onboard Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, and we see no swerving of the tires or anything right there from Blaney that we've seen out of the last several guys. It was a little bit higher pace than what Logano did
right now
through 1 and 2, but he took a very
Logano's on the pole right now
approach without swerving the car all over the place like Joey did.
They basically were right on top of one another.
Here comes the race winner.
In practice, Logano was 11th at a 29.31, whereas he was a 27.35. I'm sorry, 35. The 31 with 35. It's going to need a little bit here.
Yeah, and he was off coming to the green as well. So Joey Logano obviously got through 3 and 4 to the start-finish line really well to have all the speed that he had down the straightaway.
6th for the Worth Ford of Blaney at 27.15.
All right, here's Hocevar. He was fastest in
Carson
practice.
Hocevar, boy, he has been one to watch this season. He finished a Cup best second at Atlanta. He's finished top 20 in all 3 of his Phoenix starts.
It's a good opportunity for Carson. He was top of the board in practice. This could be a big lap for him.
This is the minor Docks
Desert
Doors
Fox,
and more.
good to see you.
Chevrolet.
Keep this momentum
What's up,
rolling.
Desert Fox?
Speed's been in this race car. Confidence is high. See what they got.
Go Fords, Bubba says.
Don't overdrive it. Got off the corner good. Right down to the line, Kevin. I like it.
Yeah, he's
Gave up a little bit on exit as a slip up, but he's not that far out of it.
he was up the hill about a half a car compared to Logano, and then that turned into a car off the corner.
Closed it back up on the entrance to 3. Oh, 2/100ths of a second.
Wow,
Actually,
close.
15 thousandths
Hocevar.
between he and Joey Logano.
Still a great
Look
lap.
at him.
So close, but I absolutely answered the call. Congratulations. Good job, Carson Hocevar. Keep up the momentum.
Man. Here is Todd Gilliland.
Finished 10th at Coda. He has 6 starts here, and last year finished 17th. His best, the front
Boy,
line
that kid, Rod
Enterprises
says.
Ford. They are a truck stop chain.
These guys have done exactly what they need to do at the start of the season. Establish themselves 14th, 5th, 10th. With those solid finishes, puts you in a solid spot in the points, and just keep clicking off those top 15 would be a great goal for Todd. Those top 15s turn into top 10s.
The sponsor operates Love's locations in 42 states. '20th for Gilliland.
20th place for Gilliland.
9 to go, including the hometown hero, Michael McDowell.
All right, so you still going with the first 2 or the first 3 now? Are you going 1, 2, 3 in the top 10? Are you still going the top 2? Are you keeping Barry in there? No win for Barry last year. Hocevar had some speed lately. He has, Davey. So you going Logano, Hocevar, and Barry in the top 10 left. We got 9 drivers to go. So someone is getting locked in. Who's it going to be? Where's Bush? He hasn't gone yet. Rowdy hasn't gone yet. So we'll see what happens here. I'll just show you who you got left. You got Michael McDowell. You got SVG. You're welcome, Brian. You got Chris Buescher, Alex Bowman, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, and Willie B. So there is your rest of the drivers to go. So I hope you guys are ready to have some fun. Right after this, in the pin message I had put in there is the Xfinity race. We'll be doing that live at 3:30 Central. We'll be doing pre-race ceremonies and all that good stuff. Pre-race on the CW, and then at 4 o'clock, green flag of the RCV. I can't remember the name of it. It's 200. So make sure you hit that like for us over there. You'll be redirected over there too as well for that stream, and be ready to go for 200 laps at the Xfinity race. So glad you guys are here, and I'm ready to have some fun here today as you've been hanging out here all morning on the go at CeeLo.
FS1 tomorrow. So Kevin, where is Keelan racing this weekend?
Keelan is on the road course at Dominion Raceway, so he's had a good day. Won both of his little legend car races today. So
all right,
he's been sick. He had to miss a race last week, but he's
just the one race and I'm done.
Back on track. Apparently, got some of that racetrack medicine.
Awesome, well done. Michael McDowell up next. He has finished in the top 13 in all 3 races this season, and has 2 Phoenix top 10s in his last 3 starts. This is the Workhorse Chevrolet.
GOVX 200. Is it GoVX?
Unloaded him a Workhorse too.
Is it?
That thing was.
Is that how you say it? Is it Go or GOVX 200? What is
speed
it?
in this car yet again. Make sure you hit your marks, just like Kevin's been talking about.
McDowell.
Speed's in it.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot of these guys back that entry to turn 3. We saw Hocevar do it as well and trying to get a good run to the green flag. McDowell does the same thing, pretty much even with Logano, but Joey was so good getting into the corner right here and able to keep his car down on the bottom of the racetrack.
His arc was better. If you look, McDowell had to cut the corner off just a little bit, and then the car moved up the racetrack and
29th fastest.
And a lot of that has
been there again. Same thing down here.
And a lot of that into turn 1 has to do with how you come off the apron in that tri-oval, getting back up on the racetrack to get your car set.
Logano just hit that perfect with a really nice smooth transition in the corner. 5th quick for McDowell. Not too shabby. We can see the front from there.
7th, McDowell, 5th fastest.
At Coda. This will be his first
Here's
start at
SVG.
Phoenix in a Cup car. He has 2 Xfinity starts here with a best finish of 6th in the WeatherTech Chevrolet. They make automotive accessories, home, and pet care products.
They are fast at Phoenix, Michael. That's why I picked Ryan Blaney.
You heard it bottom out.
Drive that 88 like you stole it.
Yeah, you see him just up to the wall just a little too late, and then he just can't keep the car on the bottom of the racetrack like Logano could. It's just it's such a quick transition right there. You got to have the wheel straight to just let the car have its head just a little bit getting into the corner.
Well, and he had to hold the brakes down too to keep the car loaded up and keep it underneath of him, and Logano just simply didn't. Rolled it in there, nice smooth transition, let off the brakes. Car did the work.
23rd.
3:45 Eastern time here. They got 15 minutes and basketball still on the CW.
Top 10s in 2 of this year's 3 races so far. The Fry's Thomas's Philadelphia Ford. Fry's, a supermarket chain owned by
Chris
Kroger.
Busher.
And if you're going to have Thomas's muffins, you got to have the Philly cream cheese, right?
Well, I know one thing. I'm going to let you say all that tomorrow, and
Nope, I'm saying it today.
Yeah, Chris Busher. I'm just more and more impressed with Chris as we go through the years. He's just so consistent. We heard him talk about his car being good.
Greg says go 24. We'll see what he can do,
You
Greg.
really get to see how rough that apron is with Chris moving around in the seat right there.
It's a good race car driver, to your point.
And like you say, Clint, that arc getting into turn 1 has just been really good for Logano, but Busher got off the corner as good as anybody has.
I did like his car. He got it rotating, got back to the gas. He got it corrected, and again, going back to the driver that he is, car was out of control a little bit, slipping up the track, and he manhandled it and made it happen. Not exactly where he wanted to be.
He hasn't gone yet. He hasn't gone yet. Chase hasn't gone yet.
Oh,
that's jarring.
It is terrible.
Can't imagine what that feels like at the base of your spine.
It doesn't feel good, especially as you get older.
There's chiropractors, guys.
Hit that like, y'all. Trying to get to 500 likes, y'all.
For the Xfinity race.
We're only at 275. There's 900. Here's Mr. Bowman. Hit that like for us.
2 of the 3 races this year. He has 1 top 10 finish here and a pole. This is the Ally Best Friends Chevrolet, promoting the largest no-kill sanctuary in America. Their goal is to save them all. Rescue pets are on both sides of that car. I'll give you the list. You can name them all, Clint. Or not.
I like what you're doing, Mike.
Oh, man.
Ooh, Bowman.
Contest where fans can enter
bad in that turn. It blew off bad.
Featured on the car.
He's going to be 29th fastest.
Alex definitely having some trouble getting into the corners right there. He was up to the wall a little bit later than Logano, and just as he tried to pull that car down, just slipped big time.
Yeah.
Just touched that apron so slightly. You got to stay off the apron in these cars.
All right, that lap has gone to the dogs.
All right, here's my rowdy friends. Where's my rowdy friends?
Kyle Busch led 42 laps at Coda. Finished 5th.
Rowdy.
This is the Zone Quick Trip Chevrolet.
He's going to put RCR in victory lane this year. Yeah. I think it'll be more than one. It's knocking on the door. His confidence is high. His attitude's right. He's got it set on kill, and he's going to get it done. Watch.
Best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
Quarter panel with more than 1,000
How could we be rowdy? You told us to be nice. You could be a Rowdy friend.
Pretty deep cut of the dog leg.
Come on, Rowdy, get the pole, baby.
This
Get the pole.
The backstretch. Now it's the front stretch.
Not enough.
But it's where the outfield road course re-entered the oval. The way this track was originally configured led to this kind
11th
of
probably
configuration
fastest
that we know now.
Well, you see in this illustration right here, I mean, Logano is just lower in both corners. He did a great job into turn 1 on his lap
All right,
to
how
be
many
able
we
to
got
get the
left?
car positioned correctly, and nobody has done that as well. They haven't been as low, and they haven't been able to get that angle.
Where's my
into turn
Chase,
1 quite as
man?
good.
He had that big arc into 1. The car did. Hey, the car did its work. It didn't come out from underneath of him, and he let off the brake and let it roll. Carried so much speed in turn 1.
Well, that's the unique part. I think that when you say let off the brake in these cars, it's you hit the heavy spike of the brake, and Logano has one of the best brake traces for this next-gen car. He spikes that brake up really good, and then you just trail off the car. But there's never a period where the car is actually free-rolling with both pedals off.
Well, here's Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet for Chase Elliott. What a rebound he had at COTA. Got turned around in the very first corner of the race, came back for a 4th-place finish. Great drive.
Yeah, and you can really see how Logano
Trying to get
almost
the 300
exits the
likes
apron sooner than
Let's
everybody
go, y'all.
else to get that car up, but it's just been consistently
A lot of Rowdy haters,
a car
yeah.
to a car and a half better by the time he gets to turn 1.
You know, that race last weekend at COTA, to your point, Mike, for the 9 car in particular, that's a race that you're going to look back on and think, man, we could have won that race. They were extremely good the day before in practice, qualified up front. They
Well,
had all
fastest
the
for Rowdy.
ingredients
Here's
and never
Tyler
got to
Reddick.
showcase it because they got wiped out on turn 1.
True. 5th fastest for Elliott. Tyler Reddick in the Mobile 1 Toyota. Top 3 in 2 of the 3 races this season, and top 10 in 4 of the last 6 Phoenix races. On the pole last week.
And we've heard these guys talk. They know that they need to get better at this racetrack, and it all starts right here.
Thanks
with,
for the
with
300. Now let's go to
qualifying. If
4.
you're gonna win the
I bet you guys can get us
these
to
guys know
400
that
really
they
quick.
have to make this racetrack
There's
better.
900 in here. Come on.
See him just up to the
just so
wall
close
late, and it just messes that entry up. And these cars are so on edge. You see him just fight the car all the way through the corner. Didn't lose as much time as it looked like he should have.
Gains a little back, getting into 3.
What he's got.
Comes off the corner and to the line in 8th place, 27.11.
E8, Tyler Reddick there.
2 cars to go.
27.11.
So indicating.
You can see where these guys are.
I see Bell and Willie B.
You can see where their frames are digging into that track.
See it. Christopher Bell.
Going for 3 in a row. Won this race last year after leading 50 laps. He's in the Reese's Fine Foods Toyota.
See Bell, baby.
Well, they've had a great start to the season, and I think
chocolate pie. Okay.
This team just continuously gets better because they're together. See him slide the back end off of turn 4 right there.
Boom.
Logano's so fast here.
And I just think Christopher is slowly building up to be the leader of Joe Gibbs Racing.
If he stays on the track he's in, it will be more than Joe Gibbs Racing. It'll be NASCAR.
Oh, big loose right there, getting in the corner.
Got in the corner pretty hard.
Had a chance at the pole until the middle of turn 3.
He had it.
Went for it.
Yep.
And that's the hard part is we see him slide right here. That car was loose.
10th.
He ever even got all the way to the bottom.
10th for C Bell.
And only, lose a few spots.
All right, last one but not least, Willie B.
27.15, currently 10th. Final qualifier, William Byron in the Z by HP Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. High Performance Workstation Computers by HP. He also has a top 2 in 2 of the 3 races this year, including, of course, the Daytona 500 win. His second
You have all
in a
the
row.
Bass Pro Shops cars? Nice.
You see William, he's the
Look
first
at
one that's
Willie B.
exited that tri-oval earlier than Joey Logano. Up the racetrack a little bit more, but that entry...
And he diamond it back down, slipped up a little bit.
Yeah, but that entry is the most important part, Clint, to get the angle of that corner right into turn 1.
He's good by a car link.
You gonna
Just
get
be
him?
careful
Got
down
loose.
here. Washed
He's
up a little
got
bit.
him.
He's giving a give up a little bit of time, but he's going to do it. He is going to do it,
Willie
guys.
B.
Last car knocked Joey Logano off.
26.93, the only driver under 27 seconds.
Holy cow, dude. Did you see that lap? Great job. Great job, boys.
They're on fire, y'all. Fast.
Well, if they're going to write something in their notes, they need to go back and watch the entry into turn one.
Yes,
and
sir.
how you exit that trioval, because that made a big difference.
Take a top
and
10.
He was one of the very few that did it like Joey did
Actually
as well.
better. Had a better run at it. He was a car length ahead of him even going into turn one.
Well, it's been a year since William Byron has won a pole. Coda last March, but the 27-year-old from Charlotte now has his 14th
Called it. You
career
did,
pole.
Jason.
And Joey Logano on the front row at Phoenix for the 8th time. Chevy Ford front row.
All right. So there's it. We'll see if we'll listen to Willie B, and then we'll call it a day. Good job. Someone's going to R&D after the race, right? See ya, CSX. In about 30 minutes, a Desert Fox.
William Byron gets his helmet off, gets his first pole of the season. I heard you say on the radio, how about that lap? Did you get everything and hit your marks exactly as you hoped?
I did not hit my marks, Jamie. I was sideways. I just carried a ton of entry speed, and I felt like I was, I missed the middle of the corner, and just coming off the dog leg, I was so loose. But I just was gonna try to just commit to the exits and see how much I could get out of the exits, even though I missed the center. So, just a fast car. Thanks to my whole team. They've been bringing great cars, and we've been doing a really good job executing. So. Definitely want to go out there and have a great day tomorrow. I feel like our car was really good in race trim, and thanks to HP, this is one of my favorite paint schemes. So love the scheme, and just I'm still shaking. I can't believe that did not feel like a good lap, but I just committed to it, and the grip was there.
All right, William Byron will lead the field to green on Sunday. Larry Mack.
Yeah, Jamie, I am here with Joey Logano outside of the front row. You might not want to say it, but I'll say it. Damn.
Yeah. I don't like William Byron anymore. What a man, that stinks. I just got done telling Paul up this. I mean, it really sucked if the last car beat us, wouldn't it? And that's what happened. But
Logano's probably going to call officials saying Byron cheats
across all motorsports. But we'll have to go try to do
Buddy
that next
Craig.
week. And but overall, I am proud of the effort that our Hunt Brothers Pizza Ford Mustang
Congratulations,
did,
Willie B.
throughout the day. We got a little bit of work to do in race trim, but I think we're just a couple adjustments away of being where we need to be, and been able to tune it in pretty close for qualifying there. But yeah, William put out a great lap. I mean, that's a 10th better than us, so we got a little bit of work to do there too.
Well, Mike, we know they're always strong in November. Let's see if they can be strong in March.
How about that? Well, Hendrick has the.
All right, so that is that. We another fun NASCAR Cup Series practice and qualifying on our channel. So hope you guys will see you here in just a little bit. We'll do the NASCAR Xfinity Series here in just a little while. The pin message is in the chat. You can click on that link, or you'll be redirected to the stream. So thank you guys so much for all the Lone Wolf for the gifted memberships, Craig for the $2 super chat. A whole bunch of friends today. Thank you so much, guys, with new members and everything. We appreciate you. Super chats and everything. Thank you, guys. So congratulations, Willie B. We'll go over the lineup tomorrow before the start of the race, and I promise I'll be there for pre-race this time. So thank you guys so much for everything. Appreciate you. We'll see you here in a little bit. Willie B on the pole. If you're just joining us, Willie B is on the pole. Logano was pretty much in the front the whole entire qualifying until the last straw car. So thank the lovely wife, Spain, for everything she does behind the scenes as I'm hanging out here with you guys on the weekends. Thank my mods for moderating, my members for their hard-earned money back to the channel, and you for watching today. So if it wasn't for you, there would be no CeeLo. So thank you guys so much. We'll see you here in about 30 minutes for some pre-race action for the NASCAR Xfinity Series on the CW. We'll see y'all in a little bit. Enjoy your redirect to the stream. Be nice to each other over there. Go ahead and hit that like button when you pop over there, and we'll see you soon. Enjoy the trailer too. You might see CeeLo. Peace.